Good day, students. You are welcome to biology class. Hi, I'm Awoleye Oluwatoyin, your biology teacher for today. The topic for today's lesson is joints. Joints. Learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to infer that joints are places where two or more bones articulate. 2. Describe the structure of a typical joint. 3. Identify and describe the various types of joints based on movements and structural forms, respectively. 4. Describe the 6 types of synovial or movable joints with examples. And 5. Recognize functions of joints. Content. In today's lesson, we will learn about definition and structure of a typical joint, classification of joints based on movement and structural forms, types of synovial or freely movable joints, function of joints, and Waec past questions and evaluation. Introduction. Activity 1. Students, try and fold or bend your body parts. Touch and note the various places where the bending or folding are permitted. These are the various joints in the body. Question. Don't we all fold our various body parts as we desire? Yes, we do. We can fold or bend our hands, knees, neck, shoulder, etc. as per our requirements. Activity 2. Take a moment to move your arm up and down at the elbow. How is this possible? Response. The action of moving our arms in this manner is possible due to specialized structures called synovial joints. Joints are essential for all types of movements in our bodies, involving the bony parts of the bodies. Locomotory movements are no exception to this. What are joints? Definition. Joints are where two or more bones meet or join or articulate by soft tissues. It can be simple joints where two bones meet, or compound joints, that is where 3 or more bones meet. Structure of a joint. The above diagram consists of main parts or structures of a joint, namely ligaments. These are tough, partly elastic bands of tissue which hold two bones together at a joint. Tendons. Tendons are extensions of connective tissue which surround the muscles. They are non-elastic in nature and they connect muscles to bone. Articular cartilage. These are found at the surface of bones as joints. They play the role of cushioning the bones by protecting them from wear and tear during movement. Synovial membrane. This is responsible for the secretion of synovial fluid. Synovial fluid. This is the fluid secreted by the synovial membrane. It lubricates the joints and thus reduces shock as well as friction between two bones. Capsule. Capsule. Capsule is the space or sac which contains the synovial fluid. We will go on break now and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Still on joints. Classification of joints. All joints don't act the same way. They are different in many aspects. Joints are classified based on movement into three, namely fixed joint, slightly movable joints, and freely movable joints. Likewise, joints are also classified into three major groups based on structural forms, namely fibrous joints. These are fixed or immovable joints in which movement is not permitted between bones. The bones are held together by fibrous connective tissue known as capsule ligaments. Examples are found in 1. Sutures between the bones of the skull, that is cranium, as seen in the diagram below. 2. Between bones of the pelvic girdle. 3. Between bones of sacrum and pelvic girdle. Cartilaginous joints. These are slightly movable joints. The bones involved are joined together with the help of cartilages. These joints allow very limited movement. Examples are found in the pubic bones and bones of the vertebral column. This diagram shows bones of the vertebral column. Synovial joints. These are joints which allow free movement due to the presence of a lubricating fluid. The synovial fluid greatly reduces friction between bone surfaces. Types of synovial joints. There are 6 types of synovial joints, namely 1. Pivot joints. 2. Ball and socket joints. 3. Hinge joints. 4. Gliding joint. 5. Condyloid joint. And 6. Saddle joint. The diagram below shows different types of synovial joints. At the neck, in between atlas and axis, is the pivot joint. At the shoulder and hip is the ball and socket joint. At the elbow and knee is the hinge joint. At the wrist and ankle is the gliding joint. Now let us discuss each joint. Pivot or rotary or rotating joints. Pivot joints permit rotation movement only. Pivot joints permit rotation movement only, such as the movement formed by the first 2 vertebrae, that is, atlas and the axis. The undoubted process of the axis vertebra acts as pivot, which allows for the rotation of the head. Examples are 1. The joint between the atlas and axis. 2. Joint between ulnar and radius bones that rotate your forearm. Ball and socket joints. Ball and socket joints allows greatest range of motion and free movement in all directions. The ball and socket joint features the rounded head of one bone sitting in the cup of another bone. Examples include your shoulder and hip joints. We will go on break now and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Still on synovial joints. Hinge joints. This allows movement in only one plane or direction. It is like a door opening and closing in one direction along one plane. Examples include your elbow joint and knee joint. Gliding joint. The gliding joint is also called plane joint. This joint permits limited movement. It is characterized by smooth surfaces that can slip or glide over one another. Examples are found between the various bones of the wrist and ankle. Condyloid joint. Condyloid joint. The condyloid joint allows movement but no rotation. Examples include your finger joint and your jaw. Saddle joint. This does not allow rotation. It does enable movement back and forth and side to side. Example is the joint at the base of your thumb. Activity. Now, students, try to identify the different joints in your body by locating which parts of your body can be bent. Write this out. Group these joints into the categories they belong. Joint injuries. We have arthritis, muscle strain, sprain, musculoskeletal disorder, fracture, and dislocation. Functions of joints. To join bones together, to bear weight, and to allow movement, that is, to give the skeleton mobility. Waec questions. Explain how the structure of a joint adapts it to its function. Waec, June 2004. Answer. Adaptation of function to structure. 1. Presence of cartilage to reduce friction between two bones in contact. Ligaments hold the bones together. Synovial membrane secretes the synovial fluid. Synovial fluid lubricates the joints, minimizes shock and friction, and aids easy movement of joints. In this response, the feature and the functions are stated. Evaluation. Students, answer the following questions. 1. What is a joint? 2. How is the structure of a joint adapt it to its function? 3. Identify and describe various types of joints based on movement and structural forms. 4. Describe briefly the 6 types of synovial joints with examples. And 5. What are the functions of joints. Assignment: draw a well-labeled diagram 8 to 10 cm long of a section through joints. Summary: in today's lesson, we learned what a joint is, description of structure of a joint, classification of joints based on movement and structural forms, types of synovial joints, and functions of a joint. References for further studies: Effective Biology for Senior Secondary Schools by Chibuike U. Nwachukwu et al. Visit the website www.britannica.com, www.sline.com, www.visiblebody.com. Now we come to the end of the lesson. Bye for now.